Like, it is so frustrating, and I've been in. So,
There's all sorts
Good.
of. Might want to check it before and after you go live.
I've got it on my phone. We're
We're
good.
live.
We are live. All right, it is 5:30. We are. Oh, like an horn. You ready? All right. Would you please call the roll?
Ms. Boucher.
here.
Ms. Cunningham. Mr. Percy.
Here.
Mrs. Simpson.
Here.
Mr. Smith.
Here.
Mrs. Arianata.
Here.
Mr. Eister. We have a quorum.
All right. With that, the July 17th, 2024 Board of Zoning Appeals meeting is called to order. The first item before us is approval of the June 26th special meeting of the Board of Zoning Appeals. And I would entertain a motion regarding those minutes.
I move that the minutes be accepted.
We have a motion. Is there a second?
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. All right, with that, the June 26th special meeting minutes are approved as presented. I will now turn the first case over to Ms. Simpson to handle.
First hearing tonight we're going to talk about is 2024-BZA-16, 215 Miller Avenue, variance for accessory structure and size. Do we have any, structure size, sorry. Do we have any proponents for this case? Anybody wants to talk for it?
Yes.
Okay, come on up, and then you're going to have to raise your right hand and read that card.
My name is Kerry Wagoner. My address is 500 Braddock Street. I affirm that my testimony is truthful to the best of my knowledge and ability, so help me God, or under penalty of perjury.
So go ahead, and what would you like to do tonight?
I really came to just answer any questions that the committee might have, but a little information about myself. This is my wife Lydia. We're lifelong residents of Knox County. We sold our place out at Amity, north of Amity. After being out there 38 years, we thought we wanted to be in town. So we moved to a temporary house and have found this lot on the end of Miller Avenue, and it was 2.5 acres, so we purchased it and have been in the process of cleaning it up and removing debris and brush that had been accumulating there for years. We are now under contract with Sleigh Ball, who is building us a new house there, and it is to the point where we just got concrete today for the sidewalks. The drywaller's in there, the house is sided and under roof. Move-in date should be approximately September the 1st. The reason for our variance request is we have several things that we like to put inside. We don't like our things sitting outside. And we have a couple classic vehicles. I have a compact tractor that I need to take care of this 2.5 acres. I have a zero turn, and I have an enclosed trailer that I haul one of my Model Ts in. So it'd be a hardship to us to not have the building because I'd be forced to leave my things set outside, and I'd rather not do that. In preparing the site for this accessory building, I took a lot into consideration, meaning where we wanted it, where it would enhance the property, and where it would not intrude on the neighbors. So I chose a site that's approximately 50 feet behind the house. It's 40 feet off of the nearest neighbor's rear lots. I left trees and honeysuckle and different greenery there to add privacy for the neighbors and us, and even planted 16 arborvitaes where it needed. I've also was concerned about the water that would come off of the building, and so I prepared a waterway around the building, and I won't be putting any water on any of the neighbors. So let's see, I guess that's really all I had to bring to your attention tonight, other than I'm here to answer any questions or concerns you might have.
anybody else that wants to speak for the variance? Okay, come on up, ma'am. I need you to raise your right hand and read the card, please.
My name is Margaret Hogel. My address is 211 Miller Avenue. And I affirm that my testimony is truthful to the best of my knowledge and ability. So help me God, or under yes, a perjury.
And what would you like to tell us
I would
tonight?
like to say that they have almost 3 acres there to take care of. There is plenty of room for an oversized building, and I think that everything is so far is very neat and well taken care of over there. Everything seems to be going well. So when you have almost 3 acres, it takes a bit of equipment to take care of it as well. So I think that they should have the larger building.
Okay, thank you. Is there anybody that wants to speak against the proposal? Any written or verbal communication?
I have 2 things. I received a phone call from Ruth Wandel of 116 Oakway Drive. She left a voicemail stating that the building is very acceptable and she has no problem with it at all. And I have the staff report dated July 9th, 2024 for case 2024 BZA 16 for 215 Miller Avenue, parcel number 66-00919.002. The subject property is zoned R1 Single Family District. The Wagoners are requesting a variance to build a 32 feet by 48 feet custom garage totaling 1,536 square feet with a 12 feet by 30 feet open porch on the side of it. All required minimum setbacks will be exceeded. The Wagoners' new home is under construction with a main floor square footage of 1,417 and a 42 by 54 feet footprint totaling 2,204 square feet. Their property is 2.545 acres. The garage will be used to store the Wagoners' personal items, including their pontoon boat, classic cars, an enclosed trailer, and a 1-ton pickup truck. A number of accessory structure garages larger than 35% of the gross floor area of the home have been approved by the Board of Zoning Appeals for personal storage, including a 30 feet by 40 feet structure on a 0.217 acre lot at 208 Miller Avenue, circled in the image provided to you on the staff report.
Okay, so before we make a motion, did anybody have any questions for the Wagoners?
What is the square footage of the accessory building?
Mr. Wagner, do you want to come up and answer that?
Sure. It's approximately 1,500 square
Okay.
feet.
All right, thank you.
I just have one question. I'm wondering what kind of precedent we've set in the past. Because I know that according to code, it's only entitled to an accessory building being 35% of the square footage of the residential building. Have we done this type of thing in the past?
Yes,
Okay.
a number of them. And the one I pointed out was just half a block down the street on a very small lot that was circled red on your report.
There have been a number of accessory buildings that have come before the Board of Zoning Appeals. A number of them have been approved. Some of them have not been approved. Oftentimes, dealing with the specific placement of the building in regards to the neighborhood and questions from the neighbors.
Okay, so I will entertain a motion.
I would move that a variance be granted to this piece of property as requested by the Wagoners.
Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Any discussion among us? All right. Lacey, Mrs. Blankenhorn, can you call the roll?
Ms. Boucher,
Yes.
Mrs. Simpson,
Yes.
Mr. Smith,
Yes.
Mrs. Arianada.
Yes.
Motion passes.
Okay, all right. Next item, next item before us, 2024 BZA 17403 Howard Street, conditional use for residential in a general business district. Is there a proponent of the proposed variance request before us? Yes. Please come up and be sworn in.
My name is Bill Wilson. My address is 9411 Spencer Lake Road. I affirm that my testimony is truthful to the best of my knowledge and ability, so help me God, or under penalty of perjury.
What are you trying to achieve today, Mr. Wilson?
So we're requesting conditional use of residency. I am the general manager representing Mac Industries. And what we're looking to do is, so we have this office building that we no longer use. And so Mac is a fairly large precast. We're actually the largest precaster in Ohio, and we have 4 other precast facilities other than us. So it's not uncommon from time to time that other team members will come down to help us. And so what we're looking to do is kind of create an area that we can house them. Kind of helps us 2 ways. One, cuts down on cost on overnight stays. And then the second thing is you know, this building being empty tends to attract some of the homeless trying to break in. So we feel that having somebody occupy it from time to time will kind of help cut down on that. We do, you know, it's kind of hard to see in this picture, but so we own the property to the south of this, which is the manufacturing plant. We also own the house to the west, and then you'll see to the east is a garage that we own. And then to the north is there's a line of trees. So we feel that, one, we're not going to have continuous occupancy. It won't be, you know, all year round. It'll be from time to time whenever we have somebody in the area. So we feel that, you know, it won't impede on the other residents in the area. So that's
What
kind
I
of.
didn't, the question I have is, what I didn't see is it going to be like a single family? Is it going to be like a boarding house? I mean,
Yeah,
how many
so we're
people-
looking for more or less a single family.
Okay.
Really, there'll be no more than 2 occupants at a time in there.
Okay.
In most cases, it'll just be 1.
So it's going to be a single unit, or is it? Okay.
Yes.
that's-
Yes.
Okay. All right. That was my question. All right. All right. Any other questions for Mr. Wilson? Are there any other proponents of the proposed variance request before us? Are there any opponents of the proposed variance request before us? Ms. Blankenhorn, is there any written or verbal communication regarding the proposed variance request?
I had one phone call. So with a conditional use, the notification is a little different than with a variance. With conditional use, we have to mail to all property owners within 300 feet, which it's a little broader net. One property owner from Ohio Avenue called in to see what the request was about. I explained it to them. They didn't think there would be any bearing or relevance to their property. And then I had the staff report.
Okay. All right.
July 9th, 2024, for case 2024 BZA 17, 403 Howard Street, parcel number 66-06701.000. The subject property is zoned GB General Business District. Bill Wilson of Mac Industries is requesting for Mount Vernon Real Estate a conditional use permit to allow the existing structure at 403 Howard Street to be utilized for residential purposes. The structure was most recently used as an office. All of the properties on the north side of Howard Street between Gay Street and Harnwell Street are zoned general business, while nearly all of the residential-looking structures are being used as dwellings. There is a dwelling unit in the commercial-looking structure at the corner of Howard Street and East Street, owned by the Salvation Army. The Board of Zoning Appeals approved a pole barn-style structure to be built at the corner of Howard Street and South Division Street with a dwelling unit inside of it.
All right. I would entertain a motion regarding the proposed conditional use. Get it right. Is there a motion?
I move.
We have a motion from Ms. Simpson. Is there a second?
What is the motion?
To
To approve it, sorry.
conditional use as applied for.
Yeah, what he said.
Yeah. And second from Ms. Boucher. We have a motion and a second. Any additional discussion amongst the board? All right, Ms. Blankenhorn, please call the roll.
Ms. Boucher?
Yes.
Mr. Percy?
Yes.
Mrs. Simpson?
Yes.
Mr. Smith?
Yes.
Mrs. Arianada?
Yes.
All right, with that, 2024 BZA 17 is approved, conditional use is approved as applied for. Thank you, Mr. Wilson, for your time.
Thank you.
All right, next item, we're just moving right along. 2024 BZA 18, 820 East High Street. Variance for front setback for attached accessory structure. Is there a proponent of the proposed variance request before us? Please be sworn in. Please raise your right hand and be sworn in.
My name is Walter Lewis. My address is 920 East High Street. I affirm that my testimony is truthful to the best of my knowledge and ability, so help me God, or under penalty of perjury.
All right, Mr. Lewis, what are you trying to achieve today?
I'd like a variance setback, a setback of a variance in order to construct a front porch on the front of our house.
And there's one there now? Is there one there now or no?
There isn't.
Oh, that's what it's gonna.
Porch will look very similar. Okay.
Maybe,
That
yes.
threw me.
Be close.
Yeah, that too.
Correct.
All right, so there's no porch currently on the property. Is there just like oh yeah, there is nothing on, that's so weird.
Yes, the house was built. We've been in that house for 38 years, and that's the way it originally was. And with the current setting, there's roughly a 4-foot stoop, and that's right where the line is. We'd like to go another 4 feet beyond that to create an 8-foot by 12-foot porch.
And in order to be the 35 feet, you'd need to be 3 feet into that, so, and you're probably, yeah, I think there's porches closer anyway than that, so yes.
Yeah.
All right. Does anyone have any questions for Mr. Lewis? All right, are there any other proponents of the proponents of the proposed variance request before us that'd like to speak? No, I got no proponents. Are there any opponents of the proposed variance request before us? Ms. Blankenhorn, any written or verbal communication?
I did not receive any outside communications, but I have a staff report.
All right.
Dated July 9th, 2024, for case 2024 BZA 18 for 920 East High Street, parcel number 66-07924.000. The subject property is zoned R1 Single Family District. Nick Zarley of Finished Remodeling LLC requests for Nancy and Walt Lewis a variance for the front setback to construct an 8 feet by 12 feet covered front porch to be located 26 feet from the front property line. There are a number of properties in the general vicinity with varying structure setbacks closer to the High Street right-of-way, including an accessory structure that appears to be over the right-of-way line. The Board of Zoning Appeals granted a variance to a home on the next block west to construct a front porch that would be located 22 feet from the front property line. High Street has a 66 feet wide right-of-way, allowing additional yard area between the edge of pavement and the front property lines, approximately 17 feet for this site. There are no sidewalks on the south side of this block. If there were, they would be located within the 17 feet wide section of the 66 feet wide right-of-way.
Which is a very wide right-of-way. All right. I would entertain a motion regarding the proposed variance request before us.
I'd move that the variance request be approved.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
Is that Ms. Boucher?
Yes.
Yeah, all right, we have a motion and a second. Any additional discussion amongst the board? Hearing none, Ms. Blankenhorn, would you please call the roll?
Ms. Boucher?
Yes.
Mr. Percy?
Yes.
Mrs. Simpson?
Yes.
Mr. Smith?
Yes.
Mrs. Arianada?
Yes.
All right, with that, 2024 BZA 18 is approved as requested. Thank you, Mr. Lewis.
Thank you.
All right, one more, 2024 BZA 19, 33 Hilltop Drive, variance for front setback. Is there a proponent of the proposed variance request before us? Please come up and be sworn in.
My name is Paul Stalder. My address where I live is 7225 County Road 68, Millersburg, Ohio, 44654. I affirm my testimony is truthful to the best of my knowledge and ability, so help me God, or under penalty of perjury.
What are we trying to achieve today, Mr. Stalter?
Okay, we just bought this place recently, maybe 6 months or a year ago. Got some nice renters in it. We was fixing some things around the house. Not everything was done right when we bought it. We was pretty well done. We took the front deck off and didn't realize that it was too close to the road already. And the officer come by and said, you need approval for this. So that's what I'm here for. We cannot get out of the front kitchen or the mudroom door without something on the front of the house.
Okay.
Otherwise, you have to go downstairs through the basement and out the basement door. So we do need something on the front there. We'd like to put a nice 8-foot deck along the front of the house.
And there was something there that you took off?
Yeah.
So, okay, and it was about the same size, or was it a little bigger?
It was 4 foot.
Okay,
Yeah.
And so you're just looking to do 8 feet, and looks like the house is already in the 30-foot setback? Is that right, Ms. Blankenhorn?
It's right at, if not a little under the 30.
Okay. So we're looking for an 8-foot setback. Okay.
No, it's a 22 and a half feet setback.
22 and a half, okay.
And I have signed agreement from all the land joining neighbors.
Okay.
Would you like that?
Please provide that to Ms. Blankenhorn, and she'll put that in the record.
All the way around.
Okay. All right. Any questions for Mr. Stalter? Is there any other proponents of the proposed variance request before us? Are there any opponents of the proposed variance request before us? Is there any written or verbal communication regarding the proposed variance request before us?
Just the staff report.
All right.
Dated July 9th, 2024 for case 2024 BZA 19, 33 Hilltop Drive, parcel 66-09270.000. The subject property is zoned R1, Single Family District. Paul Stalter, POA for Joan Stalter, requests a variance for the front setback at 33 Hilltop Drive to construct a deck to be located 22 and a half feet from the front property line. The home to the immediate north of this property appears to set closer to the road than the subject home and has a covered front porch that sets approximately 22 feet from the front property line, based on the aerial image on the Knox County Auditor's website.
Lacey, that first paragraph, is at 21 or 22?
Well, as I'm reading this out loud and looking at my picture, I think I have my measurements mixed up because 35 Hilltop is closer to the road than this property.
Mm-hmm.
So let me see if I can pull another measurement.
Trying to see if there was something else.
So weird that they situated that house kind of cockeyed on the lot, too.
See this one?
You don't see that very often where it's not straight on the lot.
Yeah, they said it was over.
And they do have a wide right-of-way, Hilltop is. There's a significant distance from the actual property line to the edge of pavement.
Yeah. Yeah, and the other house is definitely, that covered porch is gonna be about the same
Yeah,
distance,
so
it's the same distance.
I'm pulling a aerial measurement on the auditor's site of 35 Hilltop, and it's showing 21 and a half. So the number I got of the 21 and a half from him may be, it actually may be a little more. He may have more distance than
That.
the 22 feet, give or
Okay.
take.
Okay.
I didn't measure it. My worker measured it, the guy who was working on the
Yeah.
deck.
Okay, all right. All right. So
I think
we'll
if we
leave
go
it
with 22, we'll be
at
safe.
22, yeah. All right.
We're just 8 feet
I
from the
would entertain a,
side of the house.
yeah, I think that's what the application asks for too as well, so,
Yeah, out 8 feet out from the house.
yeah. Yeah. All right. I would entertain a motion regarding the proposed variance request before us.
I make a motion that we accept the proposal as
Submitted?
submitted tonight.
All right. We have
Second.
a motion and a second from Mr. Smith. Any additional discussion amongst the board? Ms. Blankenhorn?
Ms. Boucher,
Yes.
Mr. Percy,
Yes.
Mrs. Simpson,
Yes.
Mr. Smith,
Yes.
Mrs. Arianata.
Yes.
All right, with that, 2024 BZA 19 is approved as submitted. Any other business before us, Ms. Blankenhorn?
I just want to thank Ms. Boucher for her time on the commission.
Yes, thank you.
You too.
This is her last meeting that she will be serving. The mayor does have an appointment that he's putting before council for approval. And I just want to remind everyone, if you're not able to attend a meeting or have to recuse yourself from a specific case, please let me know directly so that we ensure we have a quorum.
Is the case Ms. Burer? Is that who?
No.
Do you know who?
Ramsire. Ms. Ramsire, who's currently on the,
Civil Service Commission,
Oh,
maybe?
okay.
Yeah.
All right. I know he had another candidate in mind.
I haven't met her, but I have also suggested, and I've also ran this by Ms. Cunningham, that we replace her simply because of all of the time she has to recuse herself. She had to recuse herself from 3 of the 4 cases this evening. So I just said we could get by without her. So she understood that, and so if you know of anyone, we're
Okay.
searching for
2.
Yes.
Because we also have another alternate that's term is up in
Yes.
September.
Correct.
So,
I thank you.
thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right, all right. So if you have a name, give it to her.
Do we need to ask?
I have,
Yeah.
I have a name, run past the mayor.
That's all I have.
All right, I would entertain a
Thank you.
motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Thank you.
Second.
Very
Motion and a
much.
second.
Do
We have a second. Tanya
Yes, second.
seconded.
Yes, sorry.
We are
Yes.
adjourned. All right, thank you.
You will be missed.
Yes, I will miss it too.
Yeah.
You know, always come, you could be another,
You can always drive from Apple Valley to come see us.
Yeah.
and you could bring notes and talk to us in front of
Yeah, I could.
everybody. Just like what's
Some flashcards.
Yeah.